And co-host. What's up? So I have a story. It's called Too High. There are three distinct times in my life where I've been too high. The first of all, I don't smoke anymore because number one, I'm a mom, and so I feel like once you spit out a baby, those contacts just get erased from your phone and they get replaced by mommy and me friends who just want to talk about bottle versus breast. So I don't get high anymore. And then honestly, I don't have time to be high because I feel like as soon as I take a toke of that, that Johnny Blaze and Wu-Tang is playing in the background, one of those kids is gonna fall ill, or they're gonna cut themselves, and I will be no good to anyone. But the first time I remember being too high, I was in college, upstate New York, in the Appalachian Mountains. And my roommate decided to sell, so we quickly became the trap house on campus. And it was the good stuff, guys. It was from the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, the dew was still on the sticky icky, all right? And one night, we're out at a bar, the one bar in town, and I find myself outside, behind the bar, in a circle, in a field with all the kitchen staff, and they handed me the spliff. I took one toke, and boom, I left my body. And so here I am, I'm looking down at myself, just hanging out with these random dudes, wondering, what is life? We're all just dust in the wind. That shit fucked me up. And I jumped up from my chair and I ran into the night in a small town, population 6,000. And I'm in this stupor and I'm wandering through the streets and I randomly found the one grocery store in town, tears streaming from my face. I found a stock boy and I said, I'm lost, can you please get me home? And so he took me home. And I'd like to tell you that was the last time I ran off into the darkness from being too high, but no, it would happen many times in my life. The second time I was too high was actually recent. I was at a pop-up shop for edibles in Portsmouth, of all places. And I'm telling you, as soon as we walked in, there were treats, there were cookies and pies and fudge and brownies as far as the eye could see. And everyone was really generous with their samples. So my friend and I were just eating bite after bite of these delicious treats. And then we get down to this one room where these are the purists, okay? And we're talking pre-rolls and dime bags of the devil's lettuce as far as the eye can see. Do they still do dime bags? Anybody know?
Yes. Yeah, but they're more, right?
Okay.
Yeah, inflation.
And I go up to the first guy I see, and I'm super friendly, and I go, hey guy, so how high will I get with your stuff? And he says, well, why don't you try it? And so I look to my friend, and by the way, she is the yes friend of our group, and so whatever life hands us, she says, do it! And so I did, and I took one toke of this, the Satan spinach he puts into the little makeshift bong he had, and I take one hit, and boom, I left my body again. Except this time I'm a little older and wiser, guys, okay? So I took my soul and I tethered it, and I'm holding it like a pretty red balloon through the rest of the event, just walking around and still taking taste after taste of these delicious edibles. But then it's starting to get dark and it's time to go home. And so we're out at my car and we're standing in front of my car and I said, girl, I don't know how we're getting home because I'm only getting higher. She says, you can do it. I believe in you. And we get in the car. I can't feel my feet. I can't feel the steering wheel. I can't feel my ass on the seat, guys. But here we go. And we're going down the HRBT. And my soul at this point is just hovering above the car, just going, woo! And as we go through the HRBT, I'm just getting higher and higher. And I felt like we were Thelma and Louise, right? But I was just determined. I'm just grabbing that steering wheel with everything I had because I'm determined not to take us off that cliff. And we made it home. And now at this point, I'm back home and I'm with my children. And they're around me, and a strange thing happened. It's like I could see their essence. It was like I could see who they really are on the inside, and it was beautiful. Because for me, they're like really adults. They just have shorter legs, you know? And they're sitting around my bed, and we're watching SpongeBob or something, and I'm fighting the high. I'm fighting the mom guilt that says, why the fuck are you so high right now? And I just uttered this word of like, I'm so tired. And my little boy, he looked up at me and he said, Mom, it's okay. If you're sleepy, just go ahead and go to sleep. And with that, I surrendered to the high and I just let go and I went to sleep. Determined to let go a little more often. Now, the third time that I was too high, it was actually years ago. And I had this dope ass group of friends. Like, we loved to kick back. We would hang out and do anything. You know, we would do spontaneous karaoke in the living room. Or we would have like a cult classic and we would quote all the lines out loud. But it was all vibes. And you never knew who was gonna come through, right? And you never knew what we were gonna get into. But it was all love. And everybody, you could be yourself. Because these were your people. And one night, we're doing what we do. We hit life hard, you know, that's how we used to say, we hit life hard. But I feel like that's what you do when you're 20-something and sort of unemployed, you know? So one night, I'm really high as it is, and the party's dying down, and I just didn't want to drive home. And I'm sitting with my friend, and she's telling me something or another, and like, we're just laughing, like those gut laughs, like when you were a kid and everything was funny. And she's still talking, and I looked over to her, and a funny thing happened. I felt at home in my body. I was completely myself. I didn't need to run away. And I wish that everyone could live in that feeling forever, that contentedness, like a warm sweater that, even though it's warm, you never want to get rid of it. Or like a perfect meal, like when you just had just enough. That's how I felt. We don't get very many moments like that, and we don't get very many friends like that make us feel safe. The one thing I've learned that I want to leave you with is that being high doesn't change who you are, but it just brings out what's on the inside, right? It tears down those walls that we put up to protect ourselves. But those dank little nubs of vulnerability, you know, where you can just be okay with being afraid or unsure or just too high. You have those friends who tether you and they make you feel safe. Thank you.